Hello, welcome to Hit the Bricks. Today is exciting. We are putting on the third and final level of the Lego City table. That will be the level that most of the buildings are placed on as far as the city buildings go. We have the train yard go underneath. So we're going to put that on today. We're also going to sand all the edges of the table and paint it with what I think is a pretty close match to the tan Lego base plates. Now it is difficult for me not to just paint this blue because this is where the water is going to go. However, got to remember that this is the sandy bottom of the water and we're going to have the surface water up here, which I still don't know what I'm going to do for that yet. If you have any suggestions or ideas, leave a comment down below because I'm still open to it. I've tried a few different things, just kind of mocked it up here. I don't know, it's just an exciting aspect of the table, so I just want to make sure it's, I don't know, it's a really captivating when you look at it and really give the idea of kind of a hustle and bustle of a city and a train yard here, and then a calmness and serene underwater world here. So it is really difficult to just keep working on the bench work and some of this stuff without having a little fun playing around, right? So I did break out some of the minifigures and just some of the barrels and stuff, just kind of have a little fun and see what it'll look like when there's activity going on in the train yard here for the minifigs and such. And I did just wanted to test out the track, so I brought up my original Lego train, first one I ever had from the 90s at some point, just to make sure it worked. You know, it's a good excuse to run the train. Okay, so I'm gonna get to work. I'm gonna start painting this. I will be doing some trimming too down the line. There's just a few edges here and there that need to be just lined up so the base plates and stuff work with it. That's why I didn't actually attach any of this yet, so none of this is screwed down. So, all right, enough talking, time to work. Okay, so now we've got the board in place where we want it. Time to start putting actual Lego on the way we want it to be. And I come to my first kind of big decision is, am I using Mills plates or not? And by Mills plate, I mean the kind of modular landscaping, modular building type plates that sometimes people use that go on these larger base plates or what have you. So you can connect them if you're going to like a show or something like that, or like modularization with other people. It's really nice to have that flexibility. Also, these are pretty flimsy. So if you're gonna put like a modular building on there or really build this up, it'd be really solid. Now, that aspect of it being really solid doesn't really bother me too much because I'm building it on this plywood and I'm kind of wrapping it around. I'm not too worried about that. I'm also not too worried about taking it anywhere or connecting with anybody else, since that's not a plan of mine anyways. Probably not gonna use a lot of modular buildings, so being able to take one out and put a different one in there probably isn't a big deal. So originally I was thinking, I'm not gonna use any kind of Mills plate or any kind of modular type design for the base plates. But then I started building on here, just kind of playing around with some things just to see how it would look and where I wanna go with this. And I built up this kind of dock wall, retaining wall type thing here. And I noticed that for some reason, and maybe it's just me, been out of this for a few years, maybe I'm going crazy, wouldn't put it past me. However, when I'm just putting these blocks in here just to see what it looked like, I notice they don't line up quite right. They're not lining up quite right with the larger base plate, no matter what I did. And I made sure that it was not getting bound up from the wood, that it's got a little bit of room to float. And for some reason, as we go on, it gets a little skewed. Now, I don't know if anybody else has ever ran into that. Leave a comment down below if you have. It could just be me. It could, I don't know. But it's giving me an issue here as I go along, that everything's gonna be kind of skewed off. It's not gonna be really solid, and it's just gonna be a building issue. So that makes me think maybe I will go with some kind of Mills plate. It'd be my own adaptation of it because it doesn't have to be to specs of whatever people are generally using. It just has to fit what I'm doing. But I'm wondering if then as I build like on the side here, if I've got the plates up on top, if I build it up, maybe it'd be okay then. So I think I gotta give that a shot. I think I at least have to build a couple Mills plates right here and see if this solves this problem that I have with these blocks here being skewed over. So I'm gonna do that now. Okay, so it turns out it didn't really matter if it was the Mills plate or if I just used the base plate. I just couldn't go up on top of the dock and try to connect everything. It just kept binding up. I had to stop at each larger base plate. Here, let me show you. So I had to stop here, no matter what, whether it was on the Mills plate that I made or just up on top here. If I didn't do that, if I didn't stop at each base plate, then it just bound up and it just wouldn't line up. But interesting enough, on the bottom here, on the blue base plates, it's no problem. So now I am connected between sections. So I have the blue base plates connected kind of in between the larger gray plates as far as the distance, and that's not an issue. So that's interesting. Maybe I just forgot over the years the limitations of the brick per se. I don't know. But anyway, so it all turns out everything's fine. Again, just have these blue plates here just for kicks to kind of see. But all the workers are ready to start putting the rest of the wall up. So that should be fun. I hope I have enough bricks to do it. If not, I'll just use regular bricks besides those masonry bricks, which isn't the end of the world. That's actually what I'm going to use, or I started to use just on the side here. I think either one is fine for the docks. I'm not too worried about it. So I'll let them get to work. So wrapping up the video with some final thoughts of what we've done and what's to come here, we got a lot done. We got it painted, we've got the third level up here for the city, and I was able to put some activity on the docks here with the minifigs and such. I've got this wall somewhat completed. It needs some details, it needs some bumpers for the ships to bump against so they don't crash right into the dock there. So interesting enough, this masonry brick here, the light gray, that's everything I had, which makes me think of the fact that in a growing city, especially to a size that I've never attempted before, in any growing city, whether it be Lego or reality, you know, sometimes you're waiting on supplies, right? Logistically, you're waiting for stuff to come in. I'm waiting on stuff to come in that I ordered, like the tiles to do the water and such here. This is just temporary, obviously, so I'm waiting on those to come in and I'll be able to do this the way that I want. The other thing is, not all cities have unlimited funding. So I might be doing some of the basics here and then adding the detail as we go along, which is kind of fun. You know, you get to see what it looks like and then kind of grow and add detail and get more of the what you think it's going to be, at least in my head, what it's going to be. So that's kind of fun to start with the basics and move up from there. These workers here are repairing and reconstructing my MOC that I made. If you didn't see this switch tower, I'll put a link up on top for this one. It's from a few years ago. Actually, I'm going to modify it. Before it was somewhat larger and maybe a little too large for this size of a dock rail yard. I mean, it could take care of all the traffic underneath here. These are all going to be railroad tracks and trains underneath here. I might actually put it in the eastern docks. Might make more sense there. It's going to be more open to direct the trains when they come in. But I think I'm going to scale it down a little bit. I'm going to modify this one so it's not quite as imposing as it was before. So maybe I'll do a video on that with a remock of that. Over on the other side there, that red piece that's going up, that's part of an old school harbor set. I don't remember the year. I'd have to look it up. That's just really to show that that's where the crane's gonna go. I wanna have a crane on tracks that the freight line goes underneath, so that crane can pick up goods from the cargo ships, put them on the train, or put them on waiting trucks or what have you. So that's why that's there. You know what, I might see if I have all the pieces for that and actually just use the one that came with that set, just to have something until I either make a MOC myself or find one that I want to use that I can put into that spot there. So with that crane picking up the goods, you're going to grab it from the ships, and there's going to be larger ships that go in here, and that's why this is lower, so the hull isn't so much larger than the dock, so that's why this is down quite a bit. Speaking of that, on the other side there is a base plate for one of my original sets, an old Coast Guard set. Really like that blue and the size of that, that base plate. I think it'd be great if there was more of those, even though that's just temporary, but nevertheless, that was kind of fun just to use that. So back over here, there's gonna be some sheds, there's gonna be some storage and stuff for the goods coming in, and just some other rail yard type buildings that would be in there. I'm thinking, this is a little bit of a dream, lofty goals, but I would like to have a building down here, kind of a warehouse that actually came up and attached up to the next level, and maybe had a storefront and rose up maybe a few like stories here, and have some kind of an elevator system that would bring the goods up to here. Because I'd like to have different access points for the minifigs to get from this level to the next level, maybe through buildings, maybe through stairs. There is gonna be the stairs and such for the subway on the other side of the city here, but on this side, I'm thinking maybe a building that connects them both. So that's something to come up as well. If all this is interesting, this is where we're going with this. And it's gonna be quite a bit of city updates coming pretty quick now. So if that interests you and you haven't, maybe you wanna hit subscribe and bell notification, because that's gonna be coming up. We will also have reviews of actual Lego sets, new ones that are coming out, and some rebrickable reviews as well. I've got some more car reviews coming up with the crash tests, and also some other things that are gonna go into the dock area here, like need some ships. Like I said, I'm gonna look for a crane if there's something I like. So there's gonna be those reviews coming up as well. And then we'll move on. We've got a river, a canal, a bridge. We've got the whole rest of the table to do. Either gonna be adding details here and there, making a really detailed area, or I would just be putting like real basic like this all the way around and then come back and do details. It all depends what I feel like, that's how I do it. Also depends on what I got for bricks at the moment. So yeah, I think that's a good place to leave it for now. Really appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.